I've seen way too many people go for a cheap 70-inch TV or a generic monitor because the price tag looks good, only to end up wrestling with flickering inputs, limited control options, and a screen that just won't behave the way a professional setup needs. Those regrets happen fast. You plug it in, it works for a minute, then you realize you can't switch sources without getting up and pressing buttons, or the display won't stay on when your conference room schedule changes. So the question is, does the NEC E705 70-inch LED-lit monitor feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another big screen that will leave you pulling your hair out later? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at large format displays for a mid-size office, the biggest hesitation was the one-size-fits-all trap. You want a screen that can handle a rotating roster of laptops, a desktop PC, maybe a Blu-ray player for occasional training videos, and still be easy for the IT team to control from the network. At the same time, you don't want to spend a fortune on a high-end signage panel that brings features you'll never use, like built-in media players or 4K panels you'll never need for 1080p presentations. The risk of buying the wrong thing is a real one. You either end up overpaying for features that sit idle, or you underpay and get a display that can't keep up with the schedule changes and source swaps that happen every day in a busy meeting room. That's why I dug into the NEC E705. It's not a TV, it's marketed as a LED-lit monitor, which already tells you the manufacturer is targeting a different use case. Essentially a commercial-grade display that can be managed like an appliance rather than a consumer set-top box. The first thing that stands out is the bidirectional external control via both RS232 and LAN. For a tech-savvy facilities manager, this means you can hook the monitor into your existing control system, push a command from a central dashboard, and have the screen change inputs, adjust brightness, or even power on and off without ever stepping into the room. In a conference suite where you have a calendar integration that automatically turns the screen on 5 minutes before a meeting, that kind of network control isn't just convenient, it's a real time saver. The connectivity suite is another practical win. 2 HDMI ports, a DisplayPort, a DVI, and a VGA give you the flexibility to connect almost any source you might throw at it. In practice, I've seen offices where the main presenter plugs a laptop into HDMI, the video wall controller talks to the screen via DisplayPort, and a legacy document camera still runs off VGA. The fact that you don't have to choose one or the other means you can future-proof the room without buying a new monitor every time the company upgrades a laptop. The OPS, Open Pluggable Specification, slot is a hidden gem for those who like to keep the setup tidy. Instead of tacking an external media player or a signal extender on the back of the screen, you slide a compatible accessory into that slot and it becomes part of the display's internal ecosystem. Less cable clutter, fewer accidental unpluggins. Now, who should actually buy the NEC E705? If you run a corporate training center, a small control room, or a university lecture hall where multiple presenters need to switch sources quickly and the IT team prefers to manage displays from a central console, this monitor ticks all the right boxes. It also makes sense for digital signage in a lobby that isn't demanding ultra-high resolution but does need reliable uptime and easy remote configuration. The mounting flexibility, it can be wall-mounted or used on a sturdy stand, means you can adapt it to a tight hallway or a dedicated presentation wall without a major construction project. On the flip side, if you're a home theater enthusiast looking for the deepest blacks, HDR support, or a gaming-grade refresh rate, the E705 isn't positioned for you. The product literature focuses on business-class control features rather than cinema-grade picture quality, so you might end up with a decent image but miss out on the punch that a dedicated 4K TV would give you in a dark living room. Similarly, small startups that only need a single source plugged in for occasional video calls might find the price a bit steep compared to a standard 75-inch commercial TV that already includes basic HDMI switching. Practical strengths show up the most when the screen is part of a workflow. Imagine a weekly sales briefing. The calendar software signals the room to power up the display 10 minutes early. The LAN command lowers the brightness to a comfortable level for the early morning light, and the presenter walks in, plugs their laptop into the second HDMI, and the screen automatically switches to that input because the control system detected the new HDMI handshake. No fumbling, no which input is it on? Moments. In another scenario, a school IT manager can push a firmware update to all NEC E705 units across the campus over the